Recent estimates suggest that Nigeria has lost trillions of naira to repeated fire disasters, with the informal sector bearing the heaviest burden. Markets and small businesses are often the worst hit, yet insurance coverage remains extremely low among these groups. This raises critical questions about awareness, affordability, and trust in insurance, as well as the role of regulators and insurers in protecting vulnerable businesses. For more on this, I'm joined by Olayinka Joseph-Oluwafemi, the head, Underwriting and Reinsurance, Technical Operations at SanlamAllianz General Insurance. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now an estimated 4.6 trillion naira has been lost to repeated fire disasters in the country, and sadly, not many of these incidences are insured. So when you see stories like this, what comes to your mind?
Thank you so much, Perpetual. What comes to my mind is the fact that I just hope that they have insurance. But it's so sad that some of these people don't have insurance, and the cost of insurance is not so expensive. One of the principles of insurance is indemnity, and what indemnity does is to take you back to the position you were shortly before the loss. So we're saying that if you have a basic fire and special peril insurance in place and you suffer a loss, that's the whole essence of it. The insurance company will come to your aid to ensure that they put you back in the position you were shortly before the loss. So if all these people have insurance in place, all they need to do is just come back to the insurance company to say, I've suffered a loss. And, everything put in place, their claims to be paid. So, there's no need for people to suffer losses and not have anywhere to recoup these losses if they have insurance in place.
Okay, so let's talk about this now. When this happens, do they get the amount that is commensurate with what they have lost, or are there certain measures to be considered before you then give them their claims?
Oh, well, just as I said, that indemnity is a principle of insurance that puts you back in the position you were shortly before the loss. So if you suffer a claim, of course, the basic things you need to put in place, like, okay, you fill your proposal, or you fill your claims form, and, the only thing that you bear is your excess, which is way minimal, is very small. So, we put you back at the position you were shortly before the loss. So if you suffer a loss, we put you back. That's the whole essence of insurance.
I like how you're saying we'll put you back, but are there things to be considered? I mean, you want to look at the premium this person has paid, and, that would determine what the person gets at the end of the day.
Definitely.
So let's talk about that.
We believe that for every asset that you have a value for your asset. If you have a building, you have a value for your building. So at the beginning of your insurance, the contract of insurance, we expect you to come clean and tell me the value of your assets. Yeah, we also carry out survey to ensure that, yes, this asset is what it is. And at the end of the day, we give you your premium. And those rates are small. They're really minimum. They're affordable. They're affordable. Once you pay your premium, when there is a claim, you call on us, and we'll always be there. We have regulators in place. We have the Nigeria Insurance Association ensuring that all insurance companies keep to their promise. What we sell is peace of mind. And what we say is that transfer your risk to us so that you can go to sleep and close your eyes.
But, a lot of the times when I talk to people, they say that at the end of the day, when it's time for you to get your claims, that's when you hear you're supposed to fill a particular form, you're supposed to provide something that was never mentioned at the beginning. And they say that sometimes the process usually is delayed, and sometimes you may not even get everything because you then start hearing some things and, things in that regard. What do you make of this?
Which is why we advise that, it's a contract. And when there's a contract, there's a document. Please, when you have your policy documents, read them. If you have issues, if you have queries, just ask. But I tell you, we have regulators that are ensuring that every insurance company, they pay claims. So no insurance company in Nigeria will say they won't pay. All genuine claims are paid. Every claim that is genuine is paid. I mean, I know that last year there was a single risk that cost over 86 billion, and this industry paid. So why won't we pay?
86 billion?
Yes, just one risk.
That's quite interesting. I mean, that speaks to depth, if you ask me. All right, now away from that, let's talk about, for people who own businesses, what kind of businesses or what kind of, it's not just even businesses, even assets, whether you want to insure maybe your devices and all that. So talk to us about things that can be insured and how people can go about this.
So thank you. So every asset that you have insurable interest, what is financial, financial obligations should be insured. Your assets, your building, your vehicles, every asset that you know that if you suffer a loss, you will have to, now have to source for fund to put you back in that position. Why do you have to do that when your insurance company can always do that for you? I mean, life, education, you want peace of mind that if anything happens to me, death, permanent disability, anything can happen. I mean, we don't pray for these things to happen, but they do happen. So when they happen, you want to be sure that your beneficiary are well protected. What happens if I travel and, something happens and I don't come back? I have children, I have spouses, my wife, my children. I want to ensure that they're adequately covered. And that is why we say peace of mind. That even when you're there, when you're not there, you have peace of mind. Your asset is covered. Your beneficiary are well covered.
All right. I remember at some point the government had to make, some form of insurance compulsory. How has that been so far? Do you think we need to make everything compulsory for people to then adopt insurance, or what do you think needs to change?
Oh, well, the government are doing well. Our regulators are also doing well. And, yes, for this compulsory insurance, we see, because this insurance are compulsory, we see volume. We're seeing more and more people taking insurance. And we believe, if there are more compulsory insurance, like, fire and special peril, if it's compulsory, that means every building is supposed to have a basic fire and special perils. But basically, you see that the compulsory insurance tends towards third party. What we're saying that if you don't want to protect your asset, please ensure that a third party that is affected is protected. So you see a lot of our compulsory insurance is speaking to, third party on your vehicle, occupiers liability. If you occupy, a building, you ensure that when a third party visits and there is, there's an accident, they're adequately covered. And we appreciate the government for that. But we'll appreciate if there is more.
All right, there are clauses that speak to certain things or certain situations that are not covered under insurance. Do you mind talking about some of them? I mean, if fire incidents happens now, is it automatic that if I have done that insurance, I get what the claims, or are there things you're going to look into, like maybe the cause of the fire, maybe that would then determine if I'll get the claim or not?
For fire insurance, a lot of, if it's been confirmed that you actually suffer a loss, it's not an intentional fire. I mean, if you intentionally put your house on fire, of course, we won't cover that. So those are,
How will you know someone did that?
Of course, there are experts. There are experts that can do these things that, they can find out, what actually happened. Because, we also have fraud, people that want to defraud insurance, which was why I say that genuine claims are also, all genuine claims are settled. We don't want fraudulent claims. Claims that are fraudulent are not settled. So,
So apart from fraud, let's talk about maybe things that are probably can never be covered by insurance.
Well, to a large extent, anything assets that has financial value can be covered.
So if there's a riot around here and I have a business here, and then, maybe there's a riot, then people come in, they cut away with my goods. Will I get claims for that?
Yeah, it's under the special period, the strike, riot, and civil commotion. Is covered.
All right, that's quite interesting. So what has been your biggest insurance story so far?
Yeah, the biggest insurance story for me is I once have a client that actually suffered a claim. You find out that sometimes, for people to buy insurance, you need to, convince them. So this customer of mine, it took a lot of, convincing to ensure it actually bought a fire and special peril cover for his building. Eventually, the first year, the second year, I think it was the third year. He felt, I paid the first year, I paid the second year, I didn't suffer a claim. Why do I have to pay? But the third year, I did pay.
That's usually the question. I've had this argument with my mom. She says health insurance, I'm not using it, so why do I have to do it?
And you're like, it's a pool. Insurance is a pool. So, out of that pool of thousands of people, we're bringing our money to settle the few ones that have claims. So, the third year of this customer of mine, he actually suffered a loss. And, I was happy because I could put a smile on his face. He lives in Moe, and, he was so happy when, the process, okay, register your claim. And, when we brought him back to the position he was, shortly before the loss, he invited me when the old house was ready again. Of course, it was better off than because he had to, it was a new house. He invited me for like a mini, dinner to say, Olayinka, thank you. So, when you see that kind of thing, you know, that this works. Insurance works. I've been in this industry for so long, and I know that insurance do pay claims. What we sell is peace of mind. We're saying transfer your risk to us. Okay, you can go to sleep and close both eyes, not just one.
Close both eyes. That's quite interesting. Thank you so much. So for people who probably want to, you know, take up insurance policies, how do you think they can go about that? They can just go online. They can
online, yes. My company, SanlamAllianz, we're online.
You want me to give you an invoice for that? So basically, they can just find any insurance company,
you know, any of our locations, our offices, we're everywhere in Nigeria. Just ask a lot of questions. Come to us, go online. If you have any questions, raise them, bring it up. You'll be shocked that, I mean, those things that you think are ambiguous are really not.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the show today and for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.